Hello there, we're on the air. It's a curling night tonight, live from Tempe, Arizona. It's the 2025 DoubleTakeout.com MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg. We have a feature game between two women's teams. Team Mewers is in the hack for their first rocks. That means Team Feldman from Wine Country Curling has the hammer to start. And the camera got moved again. I'm going to move the camera while the game gets underway. So I'll be right back. All right, that camera's as good as it's going to get tonight. Hopefully the game will be much more exciting than the camera falderall. So we have Amy Putnam throwing her second stone, I believe. This is going to be going for a hit. Does make contact. It's enough to get the red rock through the rings. As Team Mewers is playing with the red rocks, Team Feldman is playing with the yellows. Now at second we have Leslie Chi. Looking to move some rocks around. We saw Mewers throw the lead rocks, and now she's taking over in the house. Looks pretty good. Just glances off of the yellow and then rolls wide. So it was just a little close to being perfect. So we have Melissa McGuire throwing lefty for Team Feldman, looking to pop out that Mewers red. Contact's made, the red goes away, and the shooter rolls under to the back 4 foot. So that's like a really nice hit and roll there by Miss McGuire. So looking to play on the other side of the rings, Leslie's being asked to hit the yellow in the back 4 foot, and I think maybe roll a little bit with a heavy draw. And this is coming up a little light, I think, although the rocks have been carrying a good amount into the rings, especially with sweepers, and it does get to the full 8 foot. Good for third shot. Feldman's sitting 2 with the hammer. I changed that on the scoreboard. Apologies for that. So it looks like McGuire is being asked to draw. So both of these teams have played at least one game today. We have 3 teams in the women's field. So we're doing a double round robin. Each team will play the other teams twice for, I guess, 4 games per team. And then depending on the standings, we may do semifinals and finals to determine a clear 1, 2, 3. So Melissa's stone goes into the guard at the top of the rings. Helps a little bit, and so it looks like the third for Team Mewers, Reed Barry, was going to be asked to try to, I think, tap the red back, and it just crashes on the guard. It's getting kind of messy in the front of the house for Leanne Shearing's first. I think they're looking to just draw into the ports. And it looks like it's through the port. Now the question is, where is it going to stop? Crashes on the front yellow and rolls to nibble the edge of the button. So Mewers is asking for a takeout, maybe a little bit of a roll towards the center if possible by Reed. It's over curling a little bit, so I think it's going to crash on the guard. It does. And then so one of the yellows goes sideways, another red goes to the edge and opens it up a little bit. So I guess for Leanne's second stone. Looking to put up a front stone or a guard for Leanne's second. This is looking pretty good. These rocks are starting to curl more. especially compared to the first draw that we saw. And that guard's pretty high, but it does do the job. As we are now to fourth stones. As a Kira Manayan gets sets for her first. This is hanging out, and it's going to flash everything, unfortunately. So now Feldman is sitting 3 with the hammer, so they are in a prime opposition to open up this game with a handful. More than a mittenful, because there's only 2 digits on a mitten. So maybe a mitten more full. I don't know. But it is an excellent opportunity for Katie and her Feldman rink. So just, I think, looking to put up a front stone to protect the advantage. And I think the question for Mewers is how to get out of this jam that they're in. So we're playing 8 ends of regulation, although teams that are down can choose to resign early. Also, if the game is tied after 8 ends, we will play an extra end. With additional time being allotted, and then if the game is tied after the extra end, we will do a draw to the button, awarding the win to whichever team is closest to the center of the rings, or the house as we call it, or the casa as other people call it, or the maison as other people call it. And that's all the words I know for house for now. Maybe dojo. We should rename curling houses dojos. And I also do need a curling team name for next league. So maybe. So this is going to crash on the guard. Maybe this has some pinball action. Not too much pinball action. It's just a little bit unlucky with the takeout again. And so now Feldman has a draw for 4. And just needs to bite the forefoot for that 4th point. So just unlucky, unfortunately, for Mewers, but an excellent opportunity for Team Feldman. As they're talking over the line that they need. And yeah, they don't want to have an over curl into the red. The miss is to be wide and to not put that red into play at all. As Feldman has made her way down the ice. So looking for a draw for 4, pardon me. Yep, has 3 in the hand. Let's see if the 4th is in the bush. And it's not going to come back, so it might. It does not come back enough. So just a slight miss there, to a slight tarnish to the otherwise shimmering superlative first end for Team Feldman to open up the scoring. Feldman is up 4-0, but Team Mewers will have the hammer when we come back to the 2025 DoubleTakeout.com MoPac Championships coming to you live from the Coyotes Curling Club in Tempe, Arizona. And ongoing coverage of this event is being brought to you by doubletakeout.com, featuring rankings and analyses of the top men's and women's teams from around the world. Viewers can check out to see how their favorite team stacks up against the competition at doubletakeout.com. And by curling.gg. Test your stip skills against your friends online at curling.gg, free online curling platform with real physics simulation. And by Endgame Curling. Unlock your potential with a curling broom that's right for you. Manufacturers of the Endgame icon and Endgame origin at endgamecurling.com. Rocks and play, we're underway here in the second end of our feature game. As we see Amy throw her first stone. In just a moment, we're going to go around the rings and let you guys know the other two games in action tonight for some MoPac After Dark. It's only 101 degrees outside right now. Just a balmy 101. As we see Queena Mewers, the stip, throw the lead rocks. And I think looking to find a way to generate some offense. They don't need to get the 4 points back all at once. Oh, it's 3 points. I apologize. I jumped the gun. That's going to slip into the rings, and so it is going to be a target for Feldman to take on. So as Putnam prepares to take on this hit, as I mentioned, there's 3 games on the ice right now. Scores are being posted to bondspieler.com. Looks like on sheet B, they just finished the first end, and Putnam was able to. Oh no, she was missed, unfortunately. So looks like Mewers is going to put up a corner guard. Sheet B, a men's game between Team Padilla of Wine Country taking on Team Skidmore of Wine Country. No score is posted, although it looks like Skidmore is throwing the first rock. So that would mean Skidmore scored, or there was a blank. All right, so Mewers was able to put up the guard. It over-curls slightly. So sheet C is our feature game between Team Mewers of OC Curling taking on Team Feldman from Wine Country. And then on sheet D, we have a men's game between Team Collins of Park City taking on Team Gilbert from Oval Curling. Those are both Utah teams. So we have a battle for Utah happening on sheet D. And it's not uncommon to have a battle of Utah at this event because we have 4 Utah teams in the field. That one went a little sideways at the very end. Had a little bit up weight and is going to go through the rings out of play. So it looks like Mewers is going to put maybe thinking about putting the guard up, but also considering splitting the rings, which could also be a advantageous move for the Orange County rink. As Leslie Chi is throwing her first stone. She is a junior curler. It's always good to see younger curlers participating in competitive events. And also, it's exciting to see both youth and their parents get involved in the sport of curling. So this is going to be a guard from Miss Chi. And it does look to, it doesn't seem to block the path. As you can see from this head-on view. As McGuire gets set. Looking for a counterclockwise takeout. This looks better. And it's going to make contact. And it's going to roll partially buried under the center guard. So a good shot there from McGuire. And a good bounce back from her first. And coverage of this end is being brought to you by DoubleTakeout.com. Proprietor Ken Palmore offers analyses and insights regarding the top men's and women's teams from around the world, including how teams perform by different metrics, including hammer efficiency, steel efficiency, and more at DoubleTakeout.com. So Cheese Stone does tap the yellow open, but the shooter goes away. So kind of a mixed result there, but not bad. As we have Leanne with her first. I think looking to put up a front stone with the out-turn counterclockwise rotation. And this does turn into a guard, but it doesn't really cover that much. So that yellow could be open on the right side from this view if Reed wanted to take it on. As her delivery is away. That guard does protect one of the yellows, so it was an okay outcome. As this this red from Mewers looks like a good line, but it's just too heavy, and it goes through the house out of play. So it looks like Feldman's trying to take another crack at protecting the shot stone on the wings there as a shearing shot is away. And these rocks, sometimes they hit the brakes, but a lot of times they kind of coast toward the house. And this might get to the 8-foot even. And it looks like it's going to settle in full 12-foot, just short of that elusive 8-foot white ring. It wasn't that elusive, but puts another stone in the ring. It's a good outcome as Reed Buried throws her second stone. Trying to go through the port again. Sweeper said it's about T-line weights. Oh, this is on the guard. Just a bit unlucky there. Although the draw to the 4-foot is still available. So we are to skip in fourth rocks here. We have a decent crowd in the warm room tonight, which is great. Seeing some coyote faces, which is awesome. Not actual coyotes, that would be weird. But it's also great that they're able to host This is a dedicated ice club, which means that they can't have a team in this arena championship. So we definitely appreciate them making their ice available to us. With we pay fees and everything, but it's nice that they were able to find the time and resources and volunteers to make this happen. And so we have Katie Feldman looking to do the draw on that right side. Maybe even a front stone, a guard, even just to close it off. The miss is going to be high, or light as it were. So this is going to be close. Looks like this might slip into the top of the rings. But they don't want it to go too deep and give Mewers a chance to maybe hit and roll or be in scoring position. So that is in the 8-foot ring. It looks like the yellow on the left might be shot and maybe more accessible, which is why Mewers is choosing to take it on. But that was a good draw there from Feldman. As Manayan gets set. See a little bit of a positive arm extension with her release. Now they don't want it to curl into any of these guards or front stones. It looks like it's going to crash, unfortunately. But it looks like the shooter is going to roll to the top of the 12-foot for third shot. But there's not going to be an easy way to bring that stone into play by the end of the end. So it looks like Feldman's going to try to put a front stone in front of the shot stone and make it hard for Mewers and Manayan to get access to that shot stone. Also for Manayan, she's been kind of put into a tough situation. She's thrown all takeouts so far and she hasn't been able to convert. So looking for a front stone, or I don't think she's going to come into the rings. If she does, it's going to be high towards the top of the house. As we see Feldman's last with a counterclockwise out turn release. Looking for a front stone, maybe top of the house. It's looking pretty good. It might coast. It might go a little deeper than her first. And so I think they're calling it an audible and having it almost corner freeze on that shot stone. So a little bit of an out for Mewers and Manayan. And it's a positive outcome for Feldman because they're sitting 3 right now. And so it looks like Mewers is going to ask Manayan to do another takeout. With your last rock, this is the hammer coming for Team Mewers. Delivered by Kira. So they want to make sure they get this yellows moving, but it looks like it's going to hit the outside yellow. Oh, goodness. It hit the outside of the outside yellow, and so the shooter rolls wide right. And it's going to be another steal of 2. It's the first steal, actually. So Miss Feldman and her rink are up 5-0 over Team Mewers. And we're going to take a pause in the action and be right back to our ongoing coverage of the 2025 MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg. All right, we're back to our ongoing coverage of the 2025 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships. Amy Putnam threw her first rock into the rings with an in-turn draw. We're joking a little bit off during the break because there's some sort of ice hockey game happening at the same time as this event. I don't know why you'd watch that when you have regional curling to tune into. But you guys are here. We definitely appreciate it. Don't watch the hockey game. So we have Quita with her stone. It's going to be more of a guard. As Amy Putnam gets set for her first stone, or her second stone, her first second stone. It's her third second stone, technically. I don't know why I'm counting rocks that way, but I am. It's MoPac After Dark, y'all. So Amy's been curling for 2 years. Started curling in August 2022 after her husband bought her curling shoes in response to Amy saying, quote, "I'm really glad you like curling, but we never see each other anymore." So that's one way to get involved in curling. And that turns into a guard, protecting the shot stone in the ring, so that looks like a shot made. Looks like Queen is going to try and draw around that guard that was just put up. As they're talking about the shot with their front ends. Oh, and it looks like Reed is holding the broom while Quina is in the hack delivering the stone. So it looks like we're calling it audible. I say we, I mean Team Mewers. Looking to, I think, peel their own stone or tap their own stone back. Which is not necessarily something you want to see, but sometimes you have to do it to have an opportunity to score later in the end. So this is going to tap back. And it looks pretty good. It does change things around a little bit. And it also kind of shifts control of the front of the house, perhaps a little bit towards Mewers. So I think that shot's made. That was the Fourth rock to the end. So the 5 rock guard zone rule is in effect for 1 more stone for Melissa McGuire's second. And Melissa's been curling for 6 years. She's won bronze twice at Arena Nationals. Obviously hoping to get back with this draw among other shots. So Feldman had the room for it to end up as a guard, and that's where it does end up. So now the 5 rock rule is over. So now Team Mewers can go after opponent's guards, and that is what is on the billet. The schedule d'affaires. I don't know what I'm talking about. As we see Leslie Chi throw her first stone. Looking to clear out the front with her first stone. It's looking decent. So it does make contact with the yellow to push it through the rings out of play. And the red sticks around to be a guard. So that's again kind of going towards the exchange and control of the front of the house. And Mewers might be able to capitalize on that as this end continues to develop. So it looks like they're going to try and draw around the center guard with Melissa's second stone. With a clockwise rotation. Looking pretty good for maybe top of the rings. And it does get around the guard, which I think was the main objective. So now kind of tipping the balance in terms of control of front of the house back towards Feldman. So Leslie's been curling for 4.5 years. She created a website called Curling Mate Finder. It's curlingmatefinder.com to help connect curlers and find teammates. She's a 17-year-old junior in high school, valedictorian, class president, and an elected student board member, and captain of her school's varsity track team. When she's not curling, she likes to crochet and play video games. As we see Leanne throw her first. Looking to, again, draw into the rings with the in-turn clockwise rotation. So it looks like Leslie was able to hit the yellow out. And this one's just going to go a little deep through the rings out of play. So a slight miss there from Leanne. That's the first miss that she has had in this game. As Feldman's sitting shots. But Mewers has a red right next to it that can be brought into play with the right shots. So we have some team communication going on. And so after initially having the broom in the house, she's opted to peel the guard with Reed's first stone. Going with the clockwise in-turn. This looks pretty close to clear. It's going to run the red back onto the other red, unlocks the yellow, and pushes the yellow through the house where it hangs on in the back of the 12-foot ring. That was a pretty good shot. I want to see a replay because why not? This looks pretty close to clear. It's going to run the red back onto the other red, unlocks the yellow, and pushes the yellow through the house where it hangs on in the back of the 12-foot ring. That was a pretty good shot. I want to see a replay. So that also goes to show about having control of the front of the house. Because with that yellow gone, the Mewers and the red rods were able to push the reds into the rings and really kind of change the end around and give Mewers an opportunity to get on this board, on the scoreboard here in this third end. So it looks like Feldman had Leanne draw in. So some more cross-sheet communication from the Mewers rink. It's a lot more crosstalk than I've seen at a lot of these events. Not uncommon though, as Reed is going to try and pop out that yellow. And they're trying to coax it over. And is it going to get there? It looks like it's on target. It does kick the yellow back, but it's going to jam on the yellow in the back of the rings. So now yellow's just like, yellow's still in the house about like a half stone closer, or almost a full stone closer than before, but not a bad outcome. And just like that, we're back to skip stones, or fourth stones. So Feldman is holding a pretty good score advantage. So I think the strategy for Feldman at this end is to just minimize giving up a big end for Mewers. As Feldman gets sets, looking to draw. And Feldman's been curling for 11 years. She won a bronze medal 3 times at the Arena Nationals, including 2018, 22, and last year, 2024. And that shot whips off the guard and rolls wide. So a bit of a miss there from Feldman. So talking about the shots again, as we see the Manayan delivery setup, as she sets to establish her balance. I think they're just looking to draw in to the top of the rings and sit third shot without setting up a possible double. So it's going to get past the guard. Now the question is, how deep is it going to go? And it looks like it's going to settle into the back of the rings, which is not too bad as long as it's still sitting as a counting stone. It's going to sit as the second, actually, yes, the second stone. I had to look at the overhead. So that was Manayan's first mate. And that's probably, it's curling's tough because sometimes you get frustrated when you miss shots, and you just have to kind of pick yourself up and just kind of remind yourself that every shot's a new opportunity to affect the outcome of the game, affect the outcome of the end. So with Feldman having the last stone, I think they're just going to draw into the rings, sit on top of that red that's in the back 8 foot and be shot, and really make it hard for Mewers to get 2 points here, or even maybe more. So Feldman also won a gold medal for the MoPac mixed doubles event in 2019. And I think she was playing with her husband. So this is Feldman's last, looking to draw through the ports. It's got the weight, and there's a bit of backing on the red. And they need it to curl, which is why the sweepers are off of it. And so it looks like it's going to settle in right on top of the red. It's good for shots. That's a well-executed draw by Katie Feldman and her rink. So it looks like they're going to try and throw a heavy draw, hoping to kind of kick the yellow to the side and hopefully be sitting 2 at the end of it. I don't know if that shot's there. It also is on the guard, so they're trying to, I think they'll hold the line, maybe coax it over. Just another unlucky draw there from Manayan. So it looks like a single for Feldman, another steal. So we're going to take a pause in the action and be right back as we continue with our coverage of the 2025 DoubleTakeout.com MoPac Championships. Rocks in play. We're underway here in this fourth end of a possible 8 ends of regulation as Amy Putnam puts up a beautiful centerline guard. And the no-tick rule is in effect as an extension of the 5-rock guard zone rule. And so as an extension of the guard zone rule, an opposing team cannot dislodge a centerline guard until after the 5th rock of the end. If they do dislodge the guard, the non-offending team has a choice: either remove the offending stone and reset the guard, or let the rocks stay where they played out. And so Queena puts up a guard herself, kind of high, but gets the job done. So when Amy isn't curling, she is saving lives and curing cancer or spending time with her 2 small humans. She loves Doritos, flamingos, and being on the water, thawed or frozen. So looking to draw around the guard she put up. It's looking pretty good. Now the question is, how buried and how deep is it going to get? And the answer is it's going to poke out a little bit, and it is going to be accessible to draw to. So kind of talking about what shot to do as Reed has their broom on the ice for a draw. So looks like perhaps a heavy draw for a tap back. It might be on the guard. It's also coming up a little light. I got 1484, which would be close to where it ended up. I would say that's probably top of the house if there wasn't a guard in the way. And so it did hit the center line guard, but it did not fully dislodge it from the center line, and thus it was not a center line violation. The more you know. So we have Melissa McGuire with her next stone. And Melissa has a fun note about her health, where 5 years ago she was self-diagnosed with a rare disorder that prevents her from hearing Katie yelling at her from the hack, and instead only when she's in the house. Her hearing and responsiveness to Scottish Olympians remains unaffected. Which is an inside joke because we have Edie Hazard coaching the Feldman rink. So that looks like a pretty good draw there from Melissa with her first. As we see Leslie being asked to take on a takeout. Line's looking pretty good, especially with the weight that she has. She's going to get one. Is there two here? Is there a double? And there is indeed a double takeout brought to you by doubletakeout.com. Let's check out the replay. Line's looking pretty good, especially with the weight that she has. She's going to get one. Is there two here? Is there a double? And there is indeed a double takeout brought to you by doubletakeout. And of course, that was brought to you by doubletakeout.com. So Melissa is trading the hits back and forth, responding in kind by hitting out the Mewers Red Rock. And so it looks like Leslie's going to be asked to do another takeout. And some of her accomplishments include playing at the Curling Nationals for the U18s. And this line is looking good again. And the weight's going to be enough to push it out. So mission accomplished. That's 2 for 2 for Miss Chi. She was also at the 2022 California Curling Championships, the Junior Open. Finishing first. It was at the Cal State Games the next year with a second place finish. As we see Leanne, her rock's already underway. And again, trading the hits back and forth. But this is hanging out. And it's not doing it back in time. It's going to go past everything. And that was Leanne's first takeout attempt of this game. So like sometimes you have your bread and butter shots, and then you're asked to go outside the zone, like asking an Italian delicatessen to make sushi. Sometimes it works, a lot of times it doesn't. Although calamari is pretty good. And if you make ceviche, ceviche is kind of like Italian sushi. As we see Reedberry with their first. So looking to draw in, it just wicks on the guard. So they were hoping to tap back. And it does crash on the guard, but the shooter rolls to the back of the 12 foot to count. So that looks like a positive outcome for Reed. Oh, and that is shot stone now in the back 12 foot. So Leanne is throwing her second stone. And she's been curling for 6 years. Now she goes for the takeout again. She loves curling, golf, skating, and misrepresenting how cold it is in a northern bonspiel in February. And she does make the hit, so some redemption for her. There's a shot stone in the rings, and Mewers is looking to kind of maybe split the house a little bit by drawing around the center coverage. All those center sentinels, as it were. As Reed delivers their next stone, looking to draw around. Reed's been curling for 9 years. They're a PhD student in sociology at UC Irvine, researching LGBTQ plus populations, their family structures, and health outcomes over time. When Reed isn't working or curling, you can find them playing board games or training their clinically insane rescue dog, Jasper, who happens to be a Chihuahua Mini Aussie Belgian Malinois, which does sound like a combo. So that red settles in the back of the 8-foot. So a positive outcome. It does get a second stone in for Team Mewers, but it's in the back of the house, and so Feldman can basically sit in front of it and outcount those 2 red rocks. So it looks like they're going to try and draw around the center pile again. Katie Feldman, as I mentioned, has been curling for 11 years. She's been recognized for her volunteer efforts at the 2019 International Tankard, a bonspiel held in British Columbia. She's also the president of the Wine Country Curling Club and hosts the Crush and Barrel bonspiels. And she's also extremely active in the MoPac region and USA Curling, including also being on the USA Curling Arena Club Advisory Group as the vice chair. So this draw is looking pretty good, and they just want to park it right in front of the red. And Feldman's done that before. She did it the last end. It worked out really well for their team. And that's a great draw freeze there. So now Manayan again is being asked to try to make something out of something close to nothing. So. Looking to, I think, do a heavy draw, unlock the stones. They don't want to crash on the guard. Let me show you what I'm seeing. So it's not going to be on the guard. It's going to go into the pile. It's going to unlock the stones. And that looks like a good outcome for the tap back. So Mewers is shot right now, but it's exposed. And the Feldman second stone is fairly well buried under the guards. So it looks like Feldman's just going to try and pop out that red and sit 2 yellows. And again, force Manayan and Team Mewers for a draw for a single point. This is the 4th end, so we're going to take a 5-minute break. Warm Room's reacting to a shot on sheet B. So looking for a heavy draw tap, like a hack weight tap out. Doesn't need a lot of heat or speed. Now, this is more of a draw, I apologize. But it's looking pretty good. So it's going to tap the red bat just so slightly. And so now it's red sitting 1 and 3. And Mewers is sitting 2 and 4. And there's a Feldman stone that's sitting 5th which I doubt is going to come into play, but stranger things have happened. So it looks like they're going to try and just like slap the yellow, but they want to be on the inside. They rolled out in a pass end, and that cost them. So Manayan has been curling for 3 years. She's on the board of the Orange County Curling Club. She's a CPA that loves crunching numbers and that with complex Excel formulas. She also enjoys inspiring people to reach their fitness goals, so she teaches cycling classes at Equinox in her free time, and it also gives her the opportunity to practice yelling hard. And the shot was made with the tap back, so it's good for one. And that means Mewers is on the board. So the teams are going to take a 5-minute break, and we're going to take a break as well. But before we do, just another friendly reminder that coverage of this event is being brought to you by doubletakeout.com, featuring stats and insights about the top men's and women's teams from around the world, updated throughout the competitive curling season. doubletakeout.com, and by curling.gg. For snips and curlers who love a good game, curling.gg is your ultimate practice tool. Free, easy, and all about strategy. Visit curling.gg to test your skills right now. And by Endgame Curling, if the graphic came up. It did not. My app crashed. All right, so coverage of this event is also brought to you by Endgame Curling, manufacturers of the Endgame Icon and Endgame Origin brooms. Both brooms feature eco-friendly fabric replacements, innovative locking sliding position, a large radius sliding bar, adjustable pivot resistance, and a quick disconnect broom head. More at endgamecurling.com. All right, we'll take a pause and we'll be right back in just a moment with a trip around the rings to update you on the scores on the ice. We'll be right back to Tempe for the ongoing coverage of the doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships. right, we're about ready to get underway as our coverage continues from the 2025 MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg. Coming to you live from the Coyotes Curling Club, just steps away from the Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. And by steps, I mean like about a mile. Maybe 2, I don't know. It's not pedestrian accessible though, the airport.
What's that?
The airport's not really pedestrian accessible.
I have no idea. I've never tried.
I mean, you could go to the SkyTrain, like the light rail entrance, and then like take the SkyTrain in. But like, well, I guess you also go to on the west side. But the east side, where the freeways are, like it's all freeways, so you really can't access it as a pedestrian on that side.
I mean, you go under the freeway, you go out here to University and then go under the freeway, and I can't remember where you take a right. You take a right somewhere, it'll take you to where the parking lot is. But that's a long walk.
It would be a long walk. Also a hot walk.
108.
It's 100 degrees right now, so small favors.
Seems to me like an Uber might be a smart choice.
Yeah. Well, Waymo's kind of fun.
I haven't done one yet.
Yeah. So Waymo is the self-driving vehicles that you don't have to tip. The day that we have to tip a Waymo is the day the world ends.
I'm sure somebody will try.
So we have offsetting guards to start the end. As Mewers gets set to draw around the pile. So updating the scores after 4, which is really after 3 because they haven't posted the fourth end scores yet. On sheet B, a men's contest between Team Padilla of Wine Country facing Team Skidmore of Wine Country. Skidmore opened the game with a steal of 2, but since then it's been all Padilla. Converting the hammer with 2 in the second and then stealing a single in the next 2 ends. Padilla is currently up 4-2. Sheet C is our feature sheets, where it's been pretty strongly Feldman up 6-1 over Team Mewers. As you see Amy Putnam throw her second stone. I think looking to make some contact on the rock in the rings. And then a sheet D, they haven't posted the fourth end score, but it's been Gilbert for the most part this game. But Gilbert was, the team was saying that they kind of had a rough fourth end, so we'll wait to see what score they post. But to this point, it's been Gilbert 4, Collins 0 at this point. So Putnam's takeout did not make it. So we now see Leslie trying to draw and kind of establish control of the front of the rings. Looks like a little heavy, maybe call an audible, and maybe go for a freeze perhaps, as Manai is trying to push it over. And doesn't quite get all the way there. But it is pretty buried by the guards, compelling Feldman to do some clearing action. As we see, need to find the right camera. It does get one of the reds cleared from the guard zone. And so Mewers is looking to put up another front stone on the left side. So that was a good shot there from Melissa. As Leslie's next shot is away. Looks about the same weight as before, maybe a little bit more. They also want to make sure it doesn't crash on the guards. So they're really sweeping to hold the line, and it's on the guards. Excuse me. They maybe could have tried to sweep to roll outward a little bit to widen the coverage zone of the guards. So Feldman's looking to have some more clearing action from Melissa. Going to get some stones moving. How many is the question? The answer is 1 yellow and then 2 yellow, as the yellow was in the, kind of closer to the rings, gets pushed into the house in front of where Queena is, and so now it's sitting on the edge of the 4-foot, and that is good for second shot. So Mewers needs to steal here, especially to have a chance to stay alive in this game, down 5 in end 5. So some of Reed's previous events include the 2018 Arena National Championships at Lead. And that was a year that the Oval hosted Arena Nationals, which was a fun event. And Utah is going to be hosting the Men's World's Championships. That's the top men's teams in the world will be in Ogden, Utah, coming up next March after the Olympics in Italy. Milan and the other city that I forget. Cortina, yeah. I thought there was more to it than that. Yeah. But it should be a fun time, and I'm sure we'll be looking for volunteers. And so Reed was able to draw on top of the yellow. So Leanne's being asked to draw around the center guard, and it's looking pretty good, as it does end up on top of the red shot stone, and it's good for shot. So brilliant draw there from Leanne, as Reed delivers their second stone. So looking to draw into the pile. I think maybe tap the yellow back if they can. Just trying to chip the yellow just ever so slightly. And then the shooter itself rolls wide toward the right. So I think Feldman's looking at a pretty positive situation here in this fifth end, as Leanne's being asked to put up a front stone, either a guard or top of the rings. And Leanne has thrown mostly draws. Only in the last end she was asked to throw takeouts, and she made one and missed one. Otherwise, in her draws or front stones, she's made or mostly made most of them except for one in the third end. And also, after 5, 20% of her shots have been in turns, or the clockwise rotation. The other have been 80% of her shots have been out turns. So we are to fourth stones. as Quina and Reed talk things over. Kira as fourth. Just had kind of a tough night at the office. Been asked to throw mostly hits. And unfortunately not being able to make too many of them. In the third end, she was asked to do some draws, and that was more successful, although she made one, missed one. So now with the broom down here in this fifth end, it looks like Kira's being asked to draw and tap the yellow. The port's there. I say the port. Yeah, I think the port's there. So it's going to hit the red. And it pushes the red back to the house. It doesn't substantially change the situation in the center of the house too much. So in the center of the house, Feldman is sitting 1 and 4. Menai is sitting 2 and 3. So for Feldman, as skip in fourth, she's thrown entirely draws. Hasn't been asked to do a takeout this game. And so through 4, she's made about 75% of her shots. And missed 2 outright. It's tough though as a skip. Because when you're a skip, either you make your shot or you don't. So Katie's shot is away. Looking to draw on top, I believe. Settle in the top 4 foots. Looks like it's going to be tight to the guard. And it does crash on the guard. This could be not great, but not bad. If it hit the red more solidly and pushed the red to the side, it could have given Menayan a chance to make a play on the shot stone. So as it is, it's there's a port to the shot stone, but it only be to like narrow the scoring area and prevent giving up multiple points. The chances to steal don't seem very high at this point. So I think the situation here is if this was a normal game and the game was closer, I think they would be content to just draw on top. That does seem to be the shot. As long as it gets through the port, her shots, that turn tends to curl a bit more for her. So they're working to make sure it gets past the guard. It does. Now the question is, where's it going to stop? They need to push it over maybe just a little bit more. They do tap the yellow back, but not enough to make Mewers' shot. That shot stone stays in the 4-foot, touching the edge of the button. So there's a draw for a second point. Or even like a heavy hit even. Because if they do it like a heavy hit on the red, on the right, like a heavy draw, not a heavy hit, heavy draw. The heavy draw into the red and then maybe roll toward the yellow. Then you would maybe get your second point, and because you could also push the red back ever so slightly. There's some misses though, because if you miss if you throw too hard, you could roll on top and over the shot yellow. And I don't think they're going to give up a point here. As Katie Feldman throws her last. So looks like not a heavy draw. This is coming up a little light, it looks like. And the sweeper's just not touching it. It's going to curl into the guards. So it's going to be a score of 1 for Team Feldman to extend their lead to 6. And I apologize for not updating the scoreboard. But we're going to take a pause in the action. We'll be right back to the 2025 DoubleTakeout.com MoPac Championships. So welcome back to the 2025 MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg. Amy Putnam's throwing her first in this battle between Team Mewers with the Red Rocks from OC Curling taking on Team Feldman from One Country. And so this, I think, it might slip into the rings. It does. And the strategy there is to draw the plate into the rings and give Feldman an opportunity to do more hits and reduce the scoring opportunities for Mewers. So, not all who draw into the rings are lost. That sounds like it could be on the Lord of the Rings. Or like a cheap knockoff. So it's MoPac After Dark, by the way. It's not dark yet, but we're hoping it gets dark. As Twina Mewers throws her first, looking to put up a corner guard. And that is accomplished. So with that, I'm guessing Feldman's going to put a front stone in front of the shot stone. They could also be trying to draw around the corner guard, but there's too much ice. And it is set to be a front stone. Looks like it's a little heavy to be a front stone. Just like being too short for it to be a stormtrooper. That still isn't biting the edge of the button. So, I mean, there could be like a slight hit and roll there. And kind of hit the yellow back and then roll under the corner guard. That seems to be what they're going for. So they're talking about which way to attack the yellow stone. So looking to like back line hack weight, hit the yellow back and roll under the corner guard. And this over curled, I think. And actually I think it hit the guard. As Melissa's next rock is away. Coverage of this end is being brought to you by Endgame Curling, manufacturers of the travel handle. And it's fun seeing curlers in the club have the travel handle. It's a full carbon fiber designed and engineered so you can bring your curling broom on the road with ease at endgamecurling.com. So looks like McGuire drew into the rings. And so now the play is to try to do some hits. I think kind of open something up and have an opportunity. I missed it. There was a double takeout brought to you by doubletakeout.com. But I missed it. I'm so sorry. You just have to believe me. It was there. So Melissa's second stone. That was a great shot from Leslie. Now Melissa's second is coming down the pike. And this is going to hit the red and get the red out with some Visine, as it were. Yeah. This is Leslie's second. Her father's in the audience, and he was able to get video of it, which it looked great. So looking for another takeout from Chi, and that is made with the intern. But this does not necessarily benefit viewers because they need rocks in play to try to score multiple points. As we have Leanne with her first. And some of Leanne's appearances include Arena Playdowns in 2023. This is going to actually hit the yellow, and just an unfortunate miss there from Leanne. So now there's an opportunity for Mewers to get multiple points. The question is if Mewers can get more than 2 and get a jump back into this game. So I mentioned that Reed was at Arena Nationals in 2018. She was also, they were also an event winner, at the 2024 Neon City Bonspiel. Also at the 2024 Drag Effect Bonspiel as an A event runner-up. And was also an A event winner in the 2023 Robbie Burns Thrifty Bonspiel. And they were vice in all 3 of those events. So hit was made, good shot there from Reed. And so they split the reins, and Leanne and Team Feldman are opting to take out the shot stone. This looks like it flashed. So just another unfortunate miss there. So now the chance to score 3 is on the table. So Reed is being asked to do a draw around the corner guard from the outside. which could be optimal, but the issue is I don't think they've been out that far in a while. So the question is weight and also the curl. And the weight's close. They're really pounding the ice to get as close as possible. And they did a nibble. Interesting. So now Mewers is sitting 3. Feldman can get to 2 of those stones pretty easily. It's going to be hard to get to that third stone, but that third stone is just hanging on by the hair of his chinny chin chin. So it doesn't seem likely that they can outcount it if necessary. And Mewers has the hammer this end. So it looks like Feldman's going to take on the shot stone from Mewers with her first. Looking for a good takeout. Let's keep an eye on her release. It's curling, but I think it's on target. It's going to roll, hit and roll on top or towards the red on the left. Not a bad outcome. That was a 10.72 takeout weight, which looked like it had plenty of pepper on it. So now it's kind of a hidden game. In this situation, Minayan doesn't want to hit the inside because that increases the chance of wrecking on the red on the left of the sheet. Definitely appreciate everyone tuning in. I'll update you on tomorrow's schedule. We have a quadruple header on tap, including a true MoPac After Dark. So they're sweeping hard to hold the line. And I think it's over curling. Now they just want to probably get a piece of it. It does scoot past the red. And the shooter goes to the back 12 foot. So they got a bit lucky there. But not a bad outcome. So now Mewers is sitting 3 with the hammer. And the question is, what does Feldman do? I think they could draw under the guards on the right there. They could do a nose hit on the shot stone on the left and basically kind of force Minayan to do the hit again. They are calling a timeout, it appears. So we're going to see the first appearance of their coach, Edie.
Their clock has to be running to call the timeout.
So let's see if we can listen in as Edie makes her way to the ice. All right, I can't hear them. Wish I could. So this is a dilly of a pickle, as it were. If they draw and are buried, that does narrow the scoring area, and it could force Mewers to just draw for a single point. And if they miss, then they're still kind of forcing Mewers to do a hit for the multiple points. It's a very interesting situation here. But Feldman has the broom down. Where Shearing actually has the broom for Feldman. So looking for a draw. Katie Feldman was her last without the hammer here in the sixth end. Weight looks a little heavy, but it might hit the brakes in time. I got 1370, which is back to the house. Now the question is it going to stop? And it does stop in the back of the 8-foot. And Mewers doesn't waste a second to put the broom down right next to that yellow stone for Manayan to bop it out for a score of 4. They want a nose hit. They want board weight, which is indicated. They say bumper, and so you hit your own bumper when you want that. This is the last rock. A chance for 4 for Kira Benayan and Team Mewers. Sweepers jumped on it quickly. Need to make sure it holds the line because it will curl. And it's going right now. Is it going to hold on? It's going to make contact and it's going to sit down for a score of 4. That was a little bit more stressful than I was thinking it should be. But that was a well-played end by Team Mewers to get back into this game. So making the score 7-5. Just like that, it's a whole new ball game. With 2 ends to play, this is now a manageable game for Team Mewers. So it's interesting to see the games ebb back and forth. So Reed makes their way down the ice as they are ending the 1 minute timeout between the ends. And the broom is down for Mewers to, I think, to put up a guard. I think the strategy has got to be to steal, and maybe get a little lucky. All right, so that was a center-ish guard, but not on the center line. As we have Amy Putnam throwing her first stone, looking to draw around the center guard. It is a round, but also is another center-ish guard. So Broom is down pretty quickly for Mewers to throw her next. Looking to draw around, I'm pretty sure. Quina recently became a research attorney for the Orange County Superior Court. When she's not working or curling, she enjoys cuddling with her 19-year-old cat, Zarina, and line dancing. She also enjoys eating good food, doing escape rooms, and playing cooperative board games with her partner, Alex. So that settles into the top of, well, in the guard zone, past the top of the house. Both teams seem to be doing okay on time, as teams have 30 minutes to play 8 ends of thinking time. And so that usually you're looking at about like 3 minutes minimum per end. And they both have plenty of time to play this end and the next. So Putnam's able to put up a corner guard. And so Mewers is asking Leslie to draw around that whole pile on the left side. Weight looks a little light, but it's enough to get around the guard. Now the question is, how deep is it going to get? And it's going to settle in the tight guard zone. So this is really helping Mewers to help control the front. Well, at some point they're going to need more rocks in the rings. As Melissa McGuire throws her first, looking to draw around the Cruft on the right side with a clockwise rotation, an out turn for a lefty. This will go into the house, not buried necessarily, but settling into the back 8 foot. So shifting play into the rings. As Leslie gets set for her seconds. Looking to hit and roll, it appears. They're trying to push it over. It looks like it's going to make contact. It's going to maybe nose hits as the yellow goes through the rings out of play. So a good takeout there from Leslie. So I wanted to tell you about all the games happening tomorrow as Melissa delivers her second. Looking to do a takeout. So we had a triple header today, and what's 33.33333% better than a triple header? And if you guessed a quadruple header, you'd be right. So that hit and roll was a beauty there from Melissa McGuire. So we have 4 games on tap tomorrow, all being streamed on the MoPac YouTube channel, starting at 9 a.m. Pacific time. That feature game will be Team Blackshear from Orange County Curling taking on Team Lazarowicz from Silicon Valley. And then the other games on our schedule include a draw at 12:30 p.m., our late afternoon draw at 4:30, and then our end of pool play MoPac After Dark finale at about 8 p.m. And It's officially MoPac After Dark, guys. So uncork the champagne bottles. It's time for MoPac After Dark. And it's time to sing the MoPac After Dark theme song, which might sound like the theme to SpongeBob SquarePants, but I insist I devised it before I ever heard of SpongeBob SquarePants. And I'm told I can't sing it on the air because I might get a copyright strike. So next time, guys. Sorry. The MoPac After Dark theme song. But who doesn't want to live in a something under the sea? I don't know the song. Which is why I did not go there. So the front of the house, there's a bit of a wall being built. Maybe like a Hadrian's wall. As Leanne sinks another stone into the rings with her first. And that was a good shot there from Leanne.
I mean, you're not going to like this, but I could run the yellow one at a normal.
Does he? Okay, so SpongeBob lives in a pineapple under the sea. I'm just going to keep revisiting this until we reach a conclusion. So if it was MoPac After Dark, where would we live? If you guys have any thoughts, be sure to drop a note in the chat. So with that Hadrian's wall up front, Rita's being asked to open it up. Had to pause the release to try and get a little bit more power into the stone. And it gets two of the Mewers reds moving. Does open it up slightly to the point where Feldman is going to want to close the door. And so Leanne very quickly delivers the rock, looking for a front stone in front of the red on the left side of the rings. Looks like it over-curled just a little bit. Not too bad though. If I was being very daring, I would maybe, no, you can't really make contact on the red. You can maybe wick off the red and roll in. That's a really tough shot. So Mewers is looking to hit and roll on the outside, with Manayan getting set for her first of 2 fourth stones. Feldman has the hammer this end. I apologize. As Manayan gets set. Trying to push it over and doesn't really get back, and so it just hits. It could help slightly in terms of the angles. I'm trying to think about what makes MoPac After Dark so special. I just think we just try to have fun with it, and just see where the trail takes us. Just random stuff happens during MoPac After Dark. As you see, Katie Feldman with her first with the hammer here in the 7th end. Looking for a front stone to take away the in off that Mewers and Nanayan just tried. And I think it over curls. So I don't think it really impacts the situation too much. Although Nanayan still has a pretty tricky shot, they still have a decent amount of time. Nanayan and Mewers. So they want to hit the outside of the red. So to kick the red in, the red that's in the rings even further in. And that does seem more manageable, like especially looking at this view, it does look like Feldman was able to make the in-off almost too difficult to attempt. The broom is pretty tight to that stone, though, as Nanayan delivers her last. Without the hammer, sweepers are called off. Looks like it's going to make contact. Oh, it was close. It does get one of the yellows moving out of the rings. But one yellow remains, and Feldman has a draw to the 8-foot for 2. So looking for a draw for Feldman with her last. Miss Leanne has the broom down for the draw. Last rock here, the hammer coming from Katie Feldman in her rig from Wine Country Curling just outside of Sacramento, California. So calling for line is curling. Now the question is, how much is it curling? Looks like it's going to be past the guards. It's a little heavy. And it's going to go through the rings out of play. So it's a good effort, just a little heavy. And it's good for a single point. So that makes the score Feldman 8, Mewers 5. Mewers has one last chance to tie things up in the 8th and final end of regulation when we come back. And just by the by, I timed Feldman's last rock at about 12:40, which would seem to be about board weight, maybe heavy bumper on the sides. So pause the action. We'll be right back after these messages. As we're about ready to get underway, let's go around the rings one last time during regulation. As Amy Putnam gets set for her first. On sheet B, a men's pool 1 game between Team Padilla of Wine Country taking on Team Skidmore of Wine Country. They're all tied at 5. After 6, they're in the middle of the 7th end. Skidmore has the hammer, and it looks like Padilla is in a scoring position to steal. Let me show you where the rocks ended up. Putnam's rock ended up in the rings. Again, to minimize the scoring opportunities for Mewers by shifting to more of a hitting game. Sheet C is our feature game. You're watching it right now. And then sheet D, the contest between Collins and Gilbert. A fierce battle back and forth. Gilbert jumped out to a 4-0 lead. But in the 4th end, Collins put up a 3 spot. And then Gilbert was able to respond with a deuce in 5. And then in 6 and 7, Collins scored a total of 3 points to tie it up. Gilbert has the hammer coming home all square at 6. As Putnam throws her next stone. Mewers opted to ignore the rock in the rings to try to put up a guard, which makes sense. As Feldman has a 3-point advantage in this last end. This is going to go a little deep, but not too deep actually. So now there's a double there, and so I think Mewers is going to take it on as Reed has their broom down for the takeout. As Mewers pushes from the hat. Leslie's trying to hold the line. Let's see if it stays on. Looks like they're going to get one of the yellows, but that's going to be all. And the shooter itself is going to roll to the 12-foot and remain in the rings. And coverage of this end is being brought to you by curling.gg. As Melissa's rock heads down the ice. Next time you're confused on the ice, take a photo, recreate it on curling.gg, and try multiple outcomes. It's the only platform that lets you take a shot, undo, and try again. Curling.gg. And so Melissa's takeout attempt flashed, unfortunately. So now there's a chance for Mewers to set up a multiple point score. As Leslie delivers from the hat. Looking to draw on top, tap the yellow back a little bit would be fine. Looking to find opportunities to hide stones to score that 3 that they need. And so it didn't curl over enough. It pushes the yellow back, so that was accomplished. However, the red rolled wide, and so Feldman and Melissa McGuire can be able to take it on. Looks like the hit's going to be made, and it goes under the yellow stone that was in the back 4-foot. And the shooter will also roll to the edge of the 8-foot. And Leslie's second stone is away. Looking to trade some hits here. heavy draw, I think. Maybe a normal draw. It was a draw. Looking to go under the corner guard, and it's partially buried. About 20 to 30, about 20 to 40%. So Feldman's just looking to pop it out with Leanne's first. Looks like he's going to crash the guard, and then the shooter is going to roll toward the right. So this might be a situation where they maybe try to raise the red on top of the yellow, and that way you have the red in scoring position, and then you have a red front stone to protect it. Mewers is opting to draw. As Reed's rock is away. Reed Berry, of course. This looks like it's over curling. And it crashes the guard and pushes it on top of the red on the left. Leanne's net stone is away. They're playing pretty fast here. Efficient play. Leanne's looking to draw around the guard on the right. It's going to settle in the back 8 foot. That's going to be good for third shot. Red is currently shot according to the overhead monitor. I think that's also why Mewers tried to draw with Reed's last. They need 3 points to tie, 4 to win. Barry is being asked to draw around that guard, that tight guard on the right. Looks close. There's some backing with the yellow, which they could be drawing to. And it looks like they do make contact with the yellow, push the yellow back to the 12 foot. And that is good for second shot. However, Feldman can park right on top of it and be shot and really narrow the scoring area for Team Mewers. So while Team Feldman is talking about the shots, this broadcast is presented by authority of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. And that includes drone shows. If you wanted to do a drone show of this game, I would say no, because I personally don't enjoy drone shows. They're fine, they're just not super enjoyable. So turning our focus back to the game. Looks like they're trying to hit the yellow onto the red. I think just reducing counting stones. I don't know if the draw is there, which might be why they put the broom there. So Katie has the rock, delivering the last rock without the hammer. So I think the plan B was to maybe hit the red in the back, but it's going to definitely make contact with the yellow. The question is, where does everything go? Not too bad for Feldman. Unlocked the yellow and pushed it towards the right edge of the forefoot to be shot. And so now Mewers is going to have to take that on to sit 2 here. And then try to find a way to score a 3rd point with their last. That was a good takeout from Katie. So Kira gets set with her first of 2 fourth stones. Looking to hit, maybe a little roll would be good. Find a place to hide if they can. They need to try and push it over a little bit. Oh, and it just kisses the yellow. And it wrecks on the red in the back. So I think they're kind of taking a look around the rings to see if they have a chance to get 3. And they've conceded the game. Looking at it being pretty difficult to get that 3rd point. Even 2 at this point. So hard-fought game, but Team Feldman emerges the victor, the 8-5 winner of this contest. And that concludes the game, or the day for both teams. And there's some pretty exciting games happening on both sheets. I think they're tied on both sheets. So let me see if I can pull up another game. And by that I mean like get my second camera out. So pause the action, I'll be right back. All right, we're back on sheet D. Let me turn off the sound on one of these mics. Okay. So, Team Gilbert from Utah is playing with the Redstones. Team Collins from Park City is playing with the Yellows. It's a tied game. And Team Collins has the hammer. So Gilbert's going to call their timeout. And so we look at the situation. We can also pan up and see the overhead camera, which is one of the advantages of having a phone as a camera. So you can see Gilbert's red, right? Just to confirm. Okay.
Gilbert's yellow.
Collins is red. I apologize. So Gilbert has the hammer. Okay. I apologize. I'm just catching up to this game right now. So you can see Collins is sitting shot about half buried under a centerish guard. So as Team Gilbert's called their timeout, they're looking at their different options. And Gilbert does have the hammer. With 3 rocks to go? Oh, okay. Okay, good to know. So we're to skip stones. So the timeout's over, and Team Gilbert's making their way down the ice. And technically the player should not be behind the house, but it's a rule that's not often observed on arena ice, but it should be. So we have David Hurst throwing the 4th stones for Team Gilbert. And I think looking to hit and roll, chip out the Collins red rock that's in the 4-foot. So it looks like it does need a curl. They're trying to push it over. It just kisses the red. It does open up the 4-foot. So it looks like Collins just wants to kind of close the door and make it difficult for Gilbert to draw for the win. This team is really using their time. You can pan down, you can see that they have 35 seconds to go to make their shot, and they also they're going to call their timeout, so they'll have 90 seconds if they call their timeout. If they don't call their timeout, they run out of time, they lose. So that's not the way to lose the game.
Okay.
They call their timeout. 18 seconds to go. So they're looking over the situation. I think they want to have a second stone counting. So they're talking over the situation in the warm room. I think sitting 2 might be the way to go. So they have the broom down for a draw, it appears. So for the skip for Team Collins is going to throw the last shot. This is their last without the hammer here in a tied game, 6-6 in the 8th end. If the game is still tied after 6, we do a extra end. And if they are still tied after the extra end, they go to skip stones to see who gets closest to the button. So Collins' last rock is away. Looking to, I think, draw a top 12-foot or 8-foot even. It's got a little weight to it. They don't want to go too deep. Ooh, that's a bit of a miss, unfortunately. And so the door is open for Gilbert. You think they're going to draw? Gilbert's a hitting team, so I think we're going to try to hit for the win. And Gilbert has just under a minute for David Hurst to make his last shot. And the broom is down for a hit. Go figure. And I'm obviously teasing. So David's shot is away. Looking for a hit for one for the win. Jerry St. James is sweeping it as Gerard is just walking it down the ice. Trying to push it over. Is it going to get over enough? And it just kisses the red. Collins steals two and the win. Maybe an upset for the day as both teams shake hands. And that was a hard-fought battle as we caught the end of that. All right, so that concludes our coverage, our feature coverage. As the Sheet B game also concluded. I can't see their names that far away. So just to recap the action. 1 second. Before we recap everything, just wanted to remind everyone, and thanks to our sponsors, doubletakeout.com, featuring updated rankings and statistical information of the top men's and women's teams from around the world. Doubletakeout.com. And by curling.gg. Test your skip steals against your friends online at curling.gg. And also by Endgame Curling. Manufacturers of the travel handle, which is a carbon fiber handle that divides into three for easy storage and carry-on luggage. Endgamecurling.com. So just one last trip around the rings before we wrap things up tonight with our MoPac After Dark. Have to get to the right tab on my phone. On Sheet B, Team Padilla secured a 7-5 win over Team Skidmore, a very close game. Padilla stole the win. On Sheet C, the women's game between Team Feldman and Mewers. Feldman was in control early, but Mewers made it interesting late. But Feldman emerged the 8-5 winner. And then on Sheet D, a back-and-forth battle between Team Collins of Park City and Gilbert of Oval Curling, with Collins emerging the winner, stealing two in the last end to break up a tie game. And that will wrap things up for our first MoPac After Dark of the Arena Playdowns. We have another MoPac After Dark tomorrow night after a quadruple header of action starting at 9 a.m. Pacific time, where our feature game is going to be Team Blackshirt of OC Curling taking on Team Lazarowicz of Silicon Valley. And we have more action at 12:30 p.m., 4:30 p.m., and 8 p.m., all times Pacific or Mountain Standard Time. So on behalf of all of us here at MoPac, Coyotes Curling, and with thanks to our sponsors, doubletakeout.com, curling.gg, and Endgame Curling, this has been your host, Ryan Olson, saying good night, good curling, and hope to see you tomorrow morning, bright and early at 9 a.m. Pacific. So long.